So special video for you. We are at Fort Sisseton. It's a state historical park. It was originally a military encampment, and now it's been a lot of things. A friend of mine is going to tell you all about it later, but now it's a historic park, and so we're actually here during the festival when people dress up like they used to and they live the way that they used to. So at some point we'll go through and we're gonna see some of the people living like the soldiers used to live in tents, and we'll tour some of the buildings. It's gonna be really cool, but I just wanted to show it to you. I think you're really gonna love it. Okay guys, so I'm standing in the middle of the parade ground, and the first building you see in front of me is actually the commander's quarters. And so that's where the guy who was in charge of the fort lived. And over here you kind of see some of these tents. Those are the soldiers' tents. And then this building's the doctor's quarter, and you can't see the watchtower in the corner, but we'll get there. And then this building was the hospital. And then the long roof you see in the back, that's the barn. And then over here we have the library and the schoolhouse. And then there's a blue tent top, and back there is where the carpenter and the blacksmith are, and we'll go visit them later. And then this is the North Barracks building. We've got a pretty cool museum in there. And this is the South Barracks building. Yeah. Okay, so in front of me, in front of me there's a couple of cannons that they're gonna shoot off. It'll be cool. And then you can see there's kind of a hill right there. That's actually the wall to the fort, because there wasn't enough trees out here to build wooden walls. So they dug a 6-foot ditch, and they took all that dirt and they piled it up to make a 6-foot wall, so that way they could have protection inside the walls. And then you kind of see a roof there, and that was some quarters for some of the officers. And then the next building we see is like the guardhouse. And then right across from it, you kind of can't see it. Well, again, we're gonna go up closer to all this stuff, is the magazine where they stored all the ammunition. And then there's the commissary adjutant office. So anyways, they're the ones that kind of did all of the, they checked everything in, and if you were new, that's where you went. And lastly, here we have the officers' quarters. So there's actually 3 separate sections in there. It has upstairs and all that stuff. That's where the officers would live. So, and we're gonna go out and explore all the different things, but I just wanted to give you a general idea of what the fort part looked like. Hi guys! So we are just waiting for the movie to start. We get to watch The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. Super good movie. Ooh, look at that. I have marshmallows stuck on my face. Sorry, eating marshmallows without you. Yeah, so I'm actually standing up on the berm. I talked about how they made the walls for the fort so they didn't have wood. So they dug this pit. I'm gonna flip it around. So they dug this pit, this big, huge pit, and they piled all the dirt up, and that's where I'm standing. Here's my dirty feet. And what it does is it created the wall, the defensive wall for the fort, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, there's even at the corner, people go running all the time. And then at the other corner, they have like lookout towers. So let's see if I can show you that one. Nope, that's my face. Let's turn that around. Okay, you can kind of see it over the heads of these people here. There's a wooden structure, so we'll get to that at some point, but I'm gonna go head back to the movie. All right, see you in a little while. Okay guys. So this is the lookout tower on the fort, and it's super cool. So I'm gonna walk you around. This is where you go in, and you'll go upstairs and see all the things. It's actually pretty stinking cool in there. Hi guys, so I'm inside the guard tower. I'm gonna give you a quick look at what it looks like. So you've got bunks where they could potentially be hanging out. There's little slots here. Now, like obviously the wire is not authentic. Just to keep the birds from roosting in here. But yeah, then you would be able to look out and see all the things. There's the actual campground. Oh, you can't see it now. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So I'm up on the second level, and there's a downstairs level too. Kind of the same thing, but this is the guard tower. It's kind of cool. So one of the cool things they do here is there's chuck wagons, and they do demonstrations, and there's even like a little kids, you learn one day and then you practice the next day, and then they have like a contest of like cooking in the Dutch oven. So that's pretty sweet. So this is called Trader's Row, and this is where vendors set up in tents and things, and they just sell all kinds of things, cups and plates and bowls and furs and candy and just kind of anything you can think of. So it's pretty sweet. So this is what the soldiers' encampment looks like. There's the tents that they live in for the weekend. We're going to see later if maybe we can find someone to talk to.
American boys were able to survive on what they could find. Not these big boned American horses that as they were described at that time. Our horses predominantly we try to find horses that are about 15 and a half hands tall. So every hand, I believe, is about 4 inches. And kind of an average cavalry horse size. This guy's probably a little big for being a cavalry horse. Obviously, a bigger horse requires a little more resources to take care of as well. Column, right to boat! March! Left, right, right! March!
I'm Katie, and we're going to talk about Fort Sisseton today. We're here at the fort, which was established because of the Indian massacre in Minnesota in 1862. And so they decided that settlers who were moving west needed some protection in case they would attack again. And so they started building the fort here in this area in South Dakota in the northeastern side. The reason being is there's several lakes around this piece of land. It was basically surrounded by water on 3 sides. They had enough clay to build their buildings, and natural defenses, had enough grass and stuff for their horses. So they started to build what they called Fort Wadsworth. And then, so that started in 1864 is when it was established. They started with a barn because to protect their horses was the most important resource for them, for their cavalry. And then after they started building their barracks for the men, and all the other buildings come up thereafter. The fort never actually had a battle here, so in 1889 the fort was decommissioned, and they all the soldiers went home. Wealthy person bought it as a hunting lodge because there was lots of animals up here to hunt: deer, elk, bear, all kinds of things. And so it was a hunting lodge for about 15 years, I think is the number. And then he had destroyed some of the buildings, so then the army rebought it and were using it as kind of a practice flyover for the early Air Force. There we go. For the early Air Force. And it slowly started to go downhill in structure wise. A lot of the roofs were gone. Then in the I want to say about 1950s, another gentleman bought the property and decided that the buildings needed restored and that this would be a great historical site for South Dakota. So he started the work and wasn't able to work on it and correctly and things, and so he decided to sell it to the state, which bought it and has been working on it ever since. Every day there's something new here. But they rebuilt a lot of the buildings on original foundations, using prisoners as a prisoner work program. And so we have 14 original buildings.
So that's just some of the history of the fort. So that was my friend Katie that was talking to you. And she used to work here, and so she kind of knows some of the stuff. And there's some spooky stories, and there's just neat things. So we're here right now, and I'm dressed up like this, like I'm lived in Laura Ingalls Wilder days, because the first weekend in July, they will go through and it's the historical festival, so the fort comes alive, and so there's military people that are here, reenactors, and they go through and they live the way that people would have lived then, and they go through and they talk about, they'll teach people what it was like to live them and the different skills that you needed. But it also brings people, and most importantly, it brings money to the fort so that they can keep doing new and interesting things. But you get to see the different types of weapons fired and how the soldiers function, and they'll teach you about all kinds of things. You get to go into the buildings and see the different ways that they lived, and you get to hear different parts of the history. They even have a really cool app now where you can go through and you can learn all about the fort even from a distance, which I think might be kind of neat to do, even if before you came here, and then that way you know a little bit more and you can see all the things. That they have a really good museum that kind of talks about what it was like to be here too, and there's lots of wildlife and beautiful trees, and I know how much you guys love trees and birds, and so yeah, it's a really good time, and I just want to share this with you. I mean, I'm hoping at some point you guys get to see it in person, but it's just something that I really love, and I thought you would really enjoy it too.
Being such an old place, there's a lot of ghosts here, and there's several that I know of. One of them is a soldier who hangs out by the barn, and during the time where they had the prisoners here working, they had a little phone booth that the prisoners could call home with. And the guard on duty, who is a relative of mine, he said that he had let the gentleman go to the barn to make his phone calls, and he came back just white as a sheet. And he said, yeah, I was on the phone, and I turned around and there was another soldier waiting there, like he was gonna use the phone. And so the guy came back and just so white that he would have thought he was a ghost, but that he just saw the black gentleman, which would have been a buffalo soldier at that time. The other one is there's a little kid that likes to play with things in the schoolhouse. Likes to move books around, likes to move the remotes and TV. One day a book just floated off the shelf and sat on the table like they were going to go to school. And then maybe later we'll talk about the white lady. Hi guys, we're in the commanding officer's quarters. Not commanding officer, but the next level officers. And one of the ghost stories that we have is a lady in white. We call her the white lady. And back in the day, when they had lots of bugs and things in their house, they would take a candle at night and they would burn the bugs off of like their furniture and the window seals, and their beds used to be made of like a rope and on a wooden frame, and so the bugs like to hang out there. So in the window you could see her burning all these bugs, and so late at night, if you're at the fort, you could see the white lady and her candle in the window.
I'll show us the beds.
Yeah, this is where she might be hanging out. Here's the beds with the rope that they tied around there, and no cushions, no nothing, just a rope with a sheet on it, and then you laid on the sheet and covered up with the blanket. So she would be standing over here trying to get rid of any spiders or anything like that.
So with the ropes, is that what they mean when they say sleep tight?
Yes, when it says sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. That's exactly what this phrase intends to, because if you let your rope sag, you'll be sleeping on the ground almost. So you always had to tie your ropes tight, and then, you know, that's where she was getting rid of the bed bugs, was burning them. So sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite.
So this is the front room area of the room that Katie was in when she was showing you the beds. So you kind of get an office space. They've got a desk and a sitting space, and here they've got a stove. And then when you come around behind, you have another stove, because that's how you stay warm. And you've got your beds and things, and there's doors to go. So you'll need to be able to get outside, to go to the bathroom, or to go upstairs. So yeah, it's kind of neat. My favorite part is this couch. We won't look at the lady because I don't know that I like her. Hi guys! So we finished the dance and we had a great time, and now we're going to change out of our fancy clothes, and I think we're gonna go for a little swim in the lake. It's kind of late, but we're gonna go for a swim in the lake. And then I also wanted to say something. Look how pretty this is. You guys gave me this for Christmas, and I wore it with my ball gown, so thank you. Hannah, this part's for you. We've turned the back room of our camper into a walk-in closet. And so there's just skirts and undergarments and hats and jewelry and more dresses and dresses and more dresses and piles of dresses and suitcases full of things and shoes and everything. This is what it looks like for the fort. And usually Earl's clothes are back here too, but because Katie and I have both taken it over, he put his clothes up front, so it's a wild ride. But it's good times. But if you guys came, you could have this room for yourselves. And then I would just figure out how to get dressed other places. Okay. They're playing baseball 1880s style with the ball that's actually soft and no gloves. Maybe this guy's gonna hit the ball. We'll see. The pitcher is not bad. Don't mind the pickup truck. Oh, people are running. There comes a guy. Looks like he's gonna make it. Run, 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 run. Basil is not trying very hard. You can also take wagon rides. Now they're not like the most historic wagons because the wheels have rubber on them, but that also was a thing eventually. But yeah, so wagon rides. It's pretty, the horses are pretty cool. So yeah.
It's just covered in stuff.
How much bigger that old one in the corner is? That one. Yeah.
I'm sure you're used to it. I was gonna.
See your nose? You're fine. Just figured this would be cool.
Like a friend of mine that's got one of those propane powered forges.
So here's all of us dressed up and ready to have a fun day at the fort. It's my friends Katie and Levi. He's the one that looks like Gaston. And there's me and Uncle Earl all dressed up. And then we had to be a little bit goofy before we took off. So we definitely did some shopping and had a good time. And then we all got dressed up to go to the military ball. So here's all of us again, all dressed up in our pretties. And I made this dress, and I made Katie's dress. And then this is my dress I was wearing on the last day. I hope you guys really liked the video and that you thought it was interesting. And if you have any more questions about the fort, you should send them my way. Maybe we could do a video call and you can ask me, or you can ask your mom and she can send me messages and I'll tell you whatever you want to know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it and you have fun and you're having a good summer, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye!